Today's Four Deep Sports Talk show is supported by PTU Clinic. Visit ptuclinic.com. Adria's Restaurant and Banquet Facility of East Bridgewater. For more information, their website is adriasrestaurant.net. And the Boston Athletic Academy at bostonathleticacademy.org.
So, Mike, first thing I want to ask you is, what does it mean to you to win this award?
It means a lot. It means that, a lot of the work that I was putting in over the last year, paid off, and, I was able to, be named with some of the better players in the state, and I was, lucky enough to win it. Testament to, I think a lot of our team this year and how great my teammates were.
Absolutely. And obviously your team had a lot of success, state champs. Congrats on that. What did you see from this group of guys that you were with that made them so special?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was, our work in the off season. A lot of us worked out together, in the mornings and afternoons, after school, before school. And, that was a huge part of it. We felt really prepared for the season. And, we felt like we were able to go in right away and be ready for every game, every opponent. And then a lot of it, I think, was just, we had a lot of fun playing together. And, we were never, too tight before a game or during a game. We stayed loose. And I think that was huge for us, when we got in tight situations, just being able to continue to have fun.
Absolutely. And other than winning this state title, what would you say is your favorite memory of playing high school basketball?
I'd say, a lot of the practices were really fun. I couldn't pick out a specific one, but I would say, many of the practices this year with the team were really good. And, going out to get food after them with everyone and just having fun with them. That was definitely one of the highlights for me.
Absolutely. And obviously I know your dad coaches at BC High. What was it like having him as your coach?
Yeah, it was great. It was an interesting adjustment at first. Obviously it's different than any other coach I'd ever had before, or will have ever again. But, it was awesome. And, to be able to, especially to close it out the way we did with him, it was awesome. And, it's one of my favorite experiences with basketball was being able to play for him.
For sure. And obviously I know you're a Quincy guy, ended up playing at a really good private school at BC High though. But what was your experience like growing up in the city of Quincy playing basketball?
Yeah, it was great. I played Sacred Heart basketball, which is, a youth program in Quincy, and both my brothers went through it. So I, was familiar going in, and Mark Jan and Granite, and he did such a great job with it. And, a couple of other Quincy kids were actually on my BCI team and also played Sacred Heart. So I was able to play with them, get to know them. And it was a great experience playing in Quincy. Quincy's big sports city, the kids love it around here. And so, it was always competitive and always really good. And I think it prepared me well for high school.
For sure. And obviously you had a tremendous career at BC High, the fourth player to join that 1,000-point club. What would you say was sort of the keys to your success?
I would definitely say preparation, in the off season or, even in the season, kind of maintaining skills. I would say that was definitely the key. And, a lot of it was just, just working on shots or individual stuff, but also, working out with the rest of my team and getting to know them. That was a huge part of it. And so I would say just the preparation that went into everything was definitely the key.
Absolutely. And what would be your advice to some younger kids that want to, play high school basketball and all that?
I'd say maximize what you're good at. For me, that was, mostly my shooting. I really focused on being a great shooter, and I understood, that's where my bread and butter is. And, I wasn't going to, try and focus on things that I really wasn't great at. I would try and, make them not a weakness, but I was really doubling down on my strengths. And that's the advice I'd give to a lot of kids, to really focus on what you're good at and try and become really good at it.
Definitely. And obviously as a standout player, do you have plans to play at the next level?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to ask, have you committed anywhere? Are you still thinking about it? And if so, what are you looking for?
Yeah. Next year I'm doing a post-grad at Phillips Exeter. And then for the year after that, I haven't made any commitment or anything. I'm still looking at some different schools and talking to different schools.
For sure. And I know obviously a lot of people do that, some really good athletes that have done that over the years. What had you picked that school in particular? Because I know obviously there's a handful in the New England area that are really strong, including there.
Yeah, it's a great blend of academics and athletics. I think it's one of the best in the area, like you said. To be able to get both sides of it, which is what I'm looking for in college, obviously also is huge. And I think it'll help me transition to the next level, both academically and athletically.
Absolutely. And then obviously with your high school basketball career being, 1,000-point scorer, that shows that not only, as an upperclassman, you were able to get the job done, but going into a school like BC High that oftentimes has like a lot of depth in terms of like older kids, talented older kids, how'd you make that sort of adjustment going from maybe like, the youth basketball level and all that, and trying to make that quick adjustment to the high school basketball and even the varsity level where you're able to, make an impact pretty quickly?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was being able to play with older guys. I was lucky enough to go to the middle school at BCI, so sometimes I was able to play with the high schoolers and get adjusted to it there. And so I think that really helped me to be able to come in and, it wasn't a, huge adjustment for me once I finally got to the varsity team. I was able to know, I've played against these guys. I know I can. And I still had to work on a few things to definitely be fully ready for it, but it wasn't a huge adjustment for me because of being able to play with them a bit and work out with them.
Definitely. And then the other thing I wanted to ask too is, winning this state championship game, you guys did really well. What was the preparation leading up to that? Sort of what was the week of practice like, going into that game?
Yeah, it was just like any other game. We went over a little bit what they do, but we really mostly focused on us. And that was kind of what it had been all year. We knew, we can play with anyone. And so we were really focused on just sharpening our skills and focusing on us. And, we game planned for Newton North a little bit and went over their stuff and their personnel. But, it was really just a normal practice week. And coach told us, like, you've won 24 games, this is just one more you have to win. We're not going to change anything up. And so, we were able to do that.
Absolutely. And what do you think, what do you want, your team to be remembered for at BC High?
Definitely winning and having fun. I think those were, two things we did pretty well. We obviously won a lot of games and we were able to win the big one. But we had a lot of fun on the way, and we were really, a tight team that enjoyed each other and really just had fun out there. And it really helped us. And, they played into each other. It's easy to have fun when you're winning, and, it's easy to win when you're having fun. So that was something we were able to do.
Definitely. And obviously you get some kids that you played with that are going to be, returning next year, kids that, maybe underclassmen and all that. What types of lessons do you hope they learn from you in your senior class?
Yeah, I hope they learn that, even when you're down in the game, you can't give up. Our semifinal game, we were down, I think 17 early on. And, the stress could have gotten to us, we're about to blow the perfect season and all this other stuff, but we were able to just stay focused. And so really for them, it's just, I hope they learn that, you just have to stay focused on the result. And, you just have to work every minute to get there. And, hopefully they'll be able to, put up a good show next year.
Absolutely. And awesome. Is there anything else, we haven't touched on it you'd like to say or think would be worth including or that you'd like people to know?
No, not really. I wouldn't say.
Well, awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate you taking the time. And, I'm going to also do a story for the Quincy Sun, so that way we can double up on the coverage.
Awesome. Thank you. And I really appreciate the award.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I didn't prepare a speech, but just want to thank everybody here at Four Deep Sports for covering our team all year and nominating me for Coach of the Year. As a coach, you don't get these awards without great players, and this year we had a great team led by a couple of my senior captains that are here tonight. Did a lot of special things, but I want to thank my wife, who it's tough being a wife of a coach with two babies at home, and dad's not always around to help clean up and all that stuff. So credit to her. Credit to I just want to thank Bob Rogers Coached with Bob for 5 years before, taking over the girls program, and learned a lot from him. And then Corey Cuddy, my assistant coach, and Kate Kummer, who's not here, but if we don't have them, we're not as good as we are. So just a lot of people to thank, and I'm honored, and thanks for the award.
Congratulations.
A popular destination, Adria boasts a breathtaking panoramic view of nature in all of its glory in each and every season. Upon visiting their 200-seat restaurant, you will see 3 distinctive areas. The lounge area includes their spacious 26-seat dining bar, high-top tables, and dining tables, all with viewing access to 7 high-definition televisions and 3 Kino monitors. A second area set apart from the lounge offers booths and tables to accommodate every member of the family. The third area, a few steps down and separated from the main restaurant by windows, is known as the Fairway Room. It is surrounded by a wall of windows offering not just a fabulous view, but a feeling of serenity and tranquility. It is a favorite spot for lunch, dinner, and functions. It is perfect for a romantic dinner, a casual family gathering, business meeting, or any large group for that special occasion.
30 seconds, guys. I'm sorry, 40 seconds. You have a good shot?
Yeah, it should.
You see him between us, Casey?
Huh?
You can see him between us, right? Like, it's not just their shoulders.
Was it?
You can see Coach Coliseum between us, right?
Yes. I can see him just.
Yeah, just making sure. I realize how cool this shit
10 seconds.
for this year. Very cool.
Go. Coach, congratulations. What does it mean to you to win this award?
It's humbling. It's humbling to be, in the same, room as, Coach Laney Holbrook and, Coach McDonald over there. It's only been my 3rd year in, and, we've had a lot of success, and that's a credit to, the players, buying into, what we're trying to do. And, like I just said, like, if you don't have great players, you're not going to have a good record. You're not going to be up for awards like this. So it's a credit to them, and then credit to their hard work, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, Coach, want to congratulate you on the award first off, but I also want to mention you were the assistant coach to Bob Rogers for 5 straight years. Went over from the boys team to the girls team. Boys team kind of overshadowed them for a little bit. When you came, that whole narrative shift. They stepped out of the shadow. They are kind of the stars of the team now. How would you say it's felt to have such immediate success with the team, getting to the Final Four this year, obviously, topping 20 wins this year? How was that success for you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we overshadowed the boys, but they're one of the best programs in the state. And honestly, they're however many games they won in a row, 32 or whatever it was, like that's in the nation. So, I learned a lot from Bob. A lot of stuff that I run, I learned from Bob, and I take a lot from him and some of the other coaches that I've coached with and played for, and try to make it my own. And the girls that are here, the captains Megan, Lauren, like they've been with me since I started. So we were senior heavy this year. So this is a credit to them. Like this award is really for them. Like they show up, they're coachable. They take what I tell them and implement it on the floor, and they buy in, and they get their teammates to buy in, and that's how we're able to win. And we do it together. So this is a team award. It's not about me.
Coach, a record-setting season for you guys. 21 wins, first ever trip to the Final Four. What made this team so special, in your opinion?
I think the year we had last year, even though it was COVID and we were only playing league games, I think there was some games last year that we had lost that kind of fueled us early on in the season and kind of got us going right off the bat. And then we've been in the hunt for the league title the last 3 years. In my first year, I think we lost out by like 2 or 3 games. We came in 3rd place, and then during the COVID year, we missed out by a game. So that was something that was driving them. So we kind of just focused on doing well in the league. And then it was funny at the end of the year. we beat Walpole, and I'm doing the scout report, and it's like, oh, keys to, get to the state championship. And, if you ask any team at the beginning of the season, what's the goal? It's like, oh, we want to win a state championship. Yeah, well, that's always not very realistic. But, when you buy in and come in to practice every day and work hard, and, you focus on those small goals, it started to become a reality, like, oh, hey, like, we could potentially go to a state championship. But, unfortunately, we ran into a really good Norwood team, well coached. They got great players. And we just didn't make enough plays to get to the state final.
Yeah, Coach, you kept mentioning the whole buying in aspect of that. You could have come to this team, taught them isolation ball, not really passing too much. Maybe you play defense if you feel like it. You stress passing and defense for your team, hard-nosed basketball, basically. Was there a point before the season where you were thinking, or before your whole career as a head coach, where you were thinking, I really hope that they can buy into this, because if they do, it will be something special, like it is now?
Yeah, I think we hung our hat on the defensive end of the floor, like, just personnel-wise, we were all long, we were athletic, we could switch, multiple girls can guard multiple positions, so we really try to focus on, defense and rebounding, and we figured, if we can hold teams to 40 points, we should be able to score more than 40 points a game. So the girls really, just kind of exerted all their energy on defense, and then that kind of dictated our offense. And then offensively, we had, again, girls that could shoot it, drive it. So it was a really well-oiled machine. Like, by the end of the season, like, I feel like, we were playing really good basketball at the right time. But again, we just kind of ran into the juggernaut.
Coach, you're going to have a lot of new faces next year, particularly the ladies behind you. They won't be around. But does a season like this change the expectations for the girls' basketball program, do you think? Does it raise the bar going into next year?
Yeah, and I think every year is different. So, I know this year was like a special year for, Whitman-Hanson basketball, girls basketball, but, I don't want that to kind of put pressure on next year's team. Like, I think each year is different, and next year's team's not going to be this year's team. And, they just got to kind of focus on, what we tell them as coaches to do in the offseason, and, not much is going to change next year. We may tweak some things here and there, but I think, for the most part, the girls behind me and even the girls that came before them have kind of laid the foundation over these last 3 years to, kind of put us on the map a little bit. And it's up to everybody else that's coming in and stepping up to continue on what they've already built.
Coach, again, I'd like to congratulate you on the season, and I appreciate you coming in for this interview. This has been the Mike Costa, Coach Costa interview from Whitman-Hanson, the Girls Basketball Coach of the Year for 4D Sports Talk. This is Nate Rollins and Joseph Burns. We'll be back after this.
Hello, this is Manny Del Carmen from the 2007 World Series champion Boston Red Sox.
World champs again.
A sports analyst for Nesson. Along with my best friend Jose Diaz, we grew up in the city of Boston, a city that we truly love. Jose and I have always talked about giving back to the youth within our city. Therefore, we created the Boston Athletic Academy to move our passion to action. Our goal is to develop future student athletes of Boston by providing a safe location to offer educational and athletic needs. We are taking the next steps and looking forward for your support to reach our goal. Please visit thebostonathleticacademy.org for more information. Let's make a difference, because success has no boundaries.
Right music. That's so hard. Thank you, Victoria.
I just want to thank everybody from 4 Deep Sports so much. I was actually down on 4 Deep Sports like 4 or 5 years ago to be on the podcast. Dominic, Lucy, their whole staff had me down to talk. Just a tremendous group of people. Cannot thank them enough. This is a huge honor. And like Coach Costa said, is that any honor you get at the coaching ranks usually is because your team did pretty damn good during the year. So it's really on our team and what they were able to accomplish, and the guys that I'm lucky to coach every day. So just a huge thank you in the presence of greatness with all these guys, Coach Laney Clement Holbrook down there, who is like an absolute living legend to me, 700 plus wins. You hope someday to be even knocking on that door remotely. So thanks so much, you guys.
Hi, this is Megan Chase of Jack Conway Real Estate. Jack Conway has been providing top quality real estate professionalism since 1956. I take personal pride to ensure that my clients are happy with the services I provide. It is my job to make sure that you are fully involved and fully informed and have all the information to make the right real estate decisions for you and your family. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be a resource for you. I can be reached at 774-240-7707 or via email at mchase@jackconway.com. I'm always happy to assist you with your real estate needs.
So Coach, first off, we want to start by congratulating you on this award. And I know that you had a very strong girls basketball program at Braintree High. You know, what was it that you were able to do to transfer that winning culture you built there over to this school?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm still in the process of it because it's such a learning experience, you know, wherever you go. I think I've been blessed with kids that care, get after it, and work really hard. But you know, I think just hopefully creating a really fun place to play and wanting to come to practice every day. And, you know, we spend our first 20 minutes having a blast at practice. You know, music's playing, we're all enjoying it. And so I think overall you just want kids that are going to, like, run through a wall for each other. And if you can, you know, create a little bit of that culture year to year, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, so Coach, obviously saw your prior coaching experience, win-loss totals, pretty insane stats to actually read. Very impressive, obviously. So I wanted to ask you, last year in your first year as coach for this team, you missed the playoffs by one game. This year you made it to the state finals. What was the mindset coming in this year? Was it basically, I want revenge for last year, show them what we could have done had we made that postseason?
Yeah, what's funny is when you're like blessed with talent and you've won for many years because of that, and then all of a sudden you're having a losing season, it's like everybody overlooks that and thinks like, she'll just get over that. No, it was like I was crying in my room and didn't know what to do for weeks on end trying to change things. So there's definitely the highs and lows of coaching, and I think you hope to ride more of the highs than the lows. And you know, we just little by little kind of sprinkled in some stuff we thought was important as coaches, and as you know, I think our senior leadership really passed on everything to each other. So at some point as coaches you step away and you let them do all the work, and they did. You know, they just keep passing it on to the next group, and the next group wants to be just as successful, and you just hope it's contagious.
And obviously you had a very successful coaching career at Braintree coaching the girls team. What was it like making the adjustment to coaching boys basketball and having this level of success?
How long do you guys have right now? There are just so many differences. So I'm a counselor too, so the psychology of it all, I'm gonna write a book, but I'm on like chapter 7 or 8 right now of just the differences in coaching boys versus girls. And what it comes down to though in the end run is that they're the same beings. Like you really realize that, like, when you break down individuals, they're all the same person. They all want to do well. They all want to like be accepted and be able to do, you know, as well as they possibly can given a situation. So what I realize is individually you can rally anyone, and once you rally them individually, when they get together as a pack, regardless if it's boys or girls, then they're going to rally themselves, you know, around whether it's you or the team or whoever. And it took a couple years, you know, to figure things out, just pace of play and some different stuff. But yeah, I love it, you know, and I think it doesn't matter. Boys, girls, it does not matter as long as you have the right kids behind it all.
Yeah, Coach, might be buying that book if that comes out. Give me a little bit of advice, and I actually talk to girls a little bit more smoothly like that. So no, Coach, what I wanted to ask you though, during these playoffs, you went to double overtime versus Mansfield. You went to overtime versus Burlington. What were those battles like in the overtime periods? What were you saying to your team to get them ready for that mindset to win the game?
Yeah, I think, you know, as any of us coaches know, is that most of the work is done in practice, right? So when you get in games, you're on the same team. It's not this like yelling thing where it's us versus you as player to coach, and you see that a lot, like where people kind of go at each other, and what you realize is, like, hopefully, right, is that you're on the same team. You guys all want the same thing. So it's in the biggest moments, it's when you become or have to become the calmest, right? Like, so you're just like, this is awesome. This is exactly where we had them. You know, Mansfield came back from, I don't know, 7 down in the final couple minutes to put it in overtime, and you have to go into a timeout being like, this is exactly where we want it to be, you know, and the kids are looking at you like, what? Like, I don't think this is exactly where we want it to be, and like, this is the best part of basketball. You get to go into overtime playing in front of 1 million fans right now, you know, and hopefully win. And so I think it's just kind of reminding them of everything they already know. You know, I don't think there's any like crazy teaching that goes on in that moment. And then same thing with Burlington. You know, went to overtime. It's a confidence thing. You know the kids have it. But to be honest, we all need the stars to align at the end. God has to be on our side a little bit here and there. And when things fall the way that they do, and sometimes they don't, you just appreciate it when it happens.
For sure. And Coach, obviously your team enjoyed a ton of success this season. What stood out to you about this group of guys?
Yeah, you don't get this group a lot. Like, they're the kids that get the balance between having a blast and knowing when to be serious and focused. And so, like, in a lot of practices, you can joke and have the comic relief, and I can be sarcastic and go at them in a funny way, and then they can immediately get back on track and know what we're doing. And so I think whenever you have that group that's like dying to be around each other, you know, we had our last 3 kids didn't play at all, and they were called the Electric Factor, right? So they would come out and they would do their thing as fans, and they'd get after it, and they'd create all these like Twitter followers, like, from what they did on the bench. And when you have kids that like care that much about how much they're cheering for things and how great they are as a scout team, you know you have something pretty special, you know, and that just translated to our starters and our bench players.
Coach, I'm happy they brought up the outside support from the school, obviously. That is a massive thing that you probably missed during COVID. Now, you don't have to worry about that anymore, which is nice stuff. But Coach, I want to congratulate you on winning Boys Basketball Coach of the Year. Thank you for coming on this. This has been Coach Kirsten McDonald. Amazing job today. Thank you for talking to us at 4D Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Physical Therapy U. I'm Kelly Duggan, Doctor of Physical Therapy and the owner of PTU Clinic. Here at PTU, you're more than a patient and we're more than physical therapy. We offer massage, physical therapy, occupational therapy, personal training, and sport-specific performance training. We treat people and athletes of all ages and all levels of experience. Our beautiful 4,500 square foot facility located at 75 Scotland Boulevard in Bridgewater, Mass. is unlike any clinic you've seen. Our large space, along with our new COVID guidelines, allow us to treat you in the safest way. Your success in meeting your goals is our top priority. Whether you're recovering from a surgery or you're elevating your performance, we are the right clinic for you. Call us at 508-697-2000 or email us at ptuclinic@gmail.com. Check out our website at www.ptuclinic.com.
So I would like to thank 4D Sports for recognizing me. I want to thank my parents and Coach Holbrook for always supporting me through my career. Couldn't do it without any of them, and especially my teammates who aren't here, but you know, I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else for my entire high school career, and you know, I love everyone that's gotten me to this point. Thank you.
A popular destination, Adria boasts a breathtaking panoramic view of nature in all of its glory in each and every season. Upon visiting their 200-seat restaurant, you will see 3 distinctive areas. The lounge area includes their spacious 26-seat dining bar, high-top tables, and dining tables, all with viewing access to 7 high-definition televisions and 3 Kino monitors. A second area set apart from the lounge offers booths and tables to accommodate every member of the family. The third area, a few steps down and separated from the main restaurant by windows, is known as the Fairway Room. It is surrounded by a wall of windows offering not just a fabulous view, but a feeling of serenity and tranquility. It is a favorite spot for lunch, dinner, and functions. It is perfect for a romantic dinner, a casual family gathering, business meeting, or any large group for that special occasion.
3 points, but there's 2.9 seconds left and 2 free throws with your names on them. You shot 96% from the free throw line this season. Was there an aura of confidence walking up that line for the final 2 shots? or was it kind of just, I'm gonna think of nothing right now, gonna forget about the 96% throughout the entire season, just focus on these two right here?
Yeah, I mean, in our previous game, it was kind of the same situation, but my coaches all knew that when they fouled me that was going to be the end of the game. And for me, there was like a moment of confidence. I knew they were going to go in, but I can't think about it and just go up to the line. So that was it.
D2 state champs. How's it feel to go out on top?
I really couldn't imagine a better way to go out. I would have never thought it would end like this, but in the moment, none of us knew what to think. We were just like, oh my god, like, what did we do? But, when everyone in town was like, congratulations and stuff, it finally hit, and, it's something that I'm very proud of.
Alright, so your coach, there's a quote that I got from online, so hoping it's true and not just made up, honestly, I'm realizing that. But so Coach Holbrook basically said about you at the end of the game, which I would always want her taking those free throws in that moment, basically. How is that such confidence from your coach, such support, basically impact you as a player and your mindset in the game?
Yeah, I mean, she has 100% confidence in me, especially at the free throw line, and sometimes she calls me that I'm her boss, but having that confidence from my biggest mentor, like my coach, is very important, and knowing that someone believed in me, that helped us push my teammates to the rest of their ability, so having that support was great.
She's arguably the best. How is it, or was it, to play for Coach Holbrook, and how did she help you grow your game?
When I was a little kid, I went to her like 600th win game. There was a picture of me in the stands, and then I was playing in her 700th win. I always wanted to play for her. I never knew how much it would impact on my life, but she's just the most amazing person, and she means a lot to me. So having her as my coach is very important.
Now, as we're moving on in the future, you're obviously going to NYU for basketball. What should we be looking for the future from you there?
They're looking forward to me shooting a lot, and I hope I fulfill that because they know that I'm a great shooter, and I want to give them everything I have, just like I did to Coach Holbrook. But I'm very excited to be playing for them.
Yeah, what did you learn through your playing career at Olive Range that you're going to carry through for the rest of your life?
What I've learned, just especially this last year, is the relationships. My teammates this year were all just best friends, and when it all ended, we didn't really know what to do with ourselves. We went from being together for 24/7 to none. We were all in different sports at that point, and I know that I'll have to cherish those relationships that I made with my teammates, because that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so Caroline, I saw that you reached the 1,000-point club for your school during a game versus Middlesex where you dropped 30 points. With that type of dominating performance, was there kind of just a sense around you that entire game, like, I can't miss, I'm in the 1,000-point club now? Pretty obvious who's the best on the court right now.
Yeah, I mean, going into that game, I knew that I was relatively close, but I thought it was going to happen in the next game against Foxborough. So I didn't think anything of it going in, but everything went in, so I was just like, oh, okay. But then I got, 2 points away, and I couldn't get it. It was like 4 minutes where I didn't score at all, and then all my teammates were talking about it. And finally, the coaches were like, oh, stop talking about it. You can't do it because we're all talking about it. So then, the fourth quarter started, and Caden Sturba had the ball, and Jasmine Cooper set me, down screen, and I flared for the three, and it went in, and that was it. And I couldn't imagine it being on a better shot either, because I love shooting threes. But yeah, I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Besides winning that state title and scoring that 1,000 point, what other memories stick out to you during your playing career at Olive Ranch?
So when you're in it has something to really do with playing, but when we won one of our games, and I think it was Medfield, and right after we went out to a restaurant in town called McGuire's, and just as a team we all went, and some of our biggest fans showed up too, and it was just a moment where we all just loved being together.
Yeah, so Caroline, you obviously mentioned when you were a little kid, there's a picture of you in the crowd at Coach Holbrook's 600th win. I wanted to ask you, was there a certain sense of honor leaving the school at the same time she does as she is retiring this year?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't imagine it'd be the last, 4-year player for her, but I'm honored to go out with her. There's no one that did it better than her, especially at all brands.
Give me one word to describe Coach Holbrook.
Legend. She's the GOAT.
Okay, thank you, Caroline Pepper. We wanted to congratulate you on this win, obviously, Girls Basketball Player of the Year. You were just amazing this year. Obviously, that's going to carry on into NYU next year. Make sure that you follow her at NYU on the girls basketball team. This has been 40 Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Megan Chase of Jack Conway Real Estate. Jack Conway has been providing top quality real estate professionalism since 1956. I take personal pride to ensure that my clients are happy with the services I provide. It is my job to make sure that you are fully involved and fully informed and have all the information to make the right real estate decisions for you and your family. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be a resource for you. I can be reached at 774-240-7707 or via email at mchase@jackconway.com. I'm always happy to assist you with your real estate needs.
Absolutely. I like listening to the song because my players don't necessarily like the songs that I choose, so thank you for that. I'd just like to thank Dom and the whole organization of 4 Deep Sports because, this is a labor of love for them and trying to make sure that they do what they need to do to cover sports in this part of the state, and I would be forever grateful for them taking the time. Like we had a really positive experience a couple of weeks ago where I brought a couple of my players in to do a radio show for them, and it was just an amazing experience for all of them. It's hard for me to kind of put into words 47 years of coaching. It's been my life's mission, and to finish the way we finished, I couldn't be happier. So thank you all for that. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hello, this is Manny Del Carmen from the 2007 World Series champion Boston Red Sox.
World champs again.
Sports analyst for Nesson. Along with my best friend Jose Diaz, we grew up in the city of Boston, a city that we truly love. Jose and I have always talked about giving back to the youth within our city. Therefore, we created the Boston Athletic Academy to move our passion to action. Our goal is to develop future student athletes of Boston by providing a safe location to offer educational and athletic needs. We are taking the next steps and looking forward for your support to reach our goal. Please visit thebostonathleticacademy.org for more information. Let's make a difference because success has no boundaries.
I just landed in paradise, and I was very, very blessed to be in that position. So, when I look back at it now, like you said, almost 50 years ago, it's hard for me to fathom, but I'm so very grateful for having had that chance.
Hey Coach, obviously you enjoyed a ton of success over the years. What were you able to do, or what would you say was the key to bringing out the best in these players that you've had?
I think I have 4 principles: be prepared, make your minutes matter, pay it forward, and for the good of the group. And I've always kind of used those as my mantra and had all my players try to understand the meaning of that. Like, when we walk into the gym at the end of tryouts, we look at those banners that are all on the wall, and I always say to my players, you're not playing for yourself, you're playing for something bigger than yourselves. And I think that they truly understood that and were willing to pay it forward for the next group. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and so, like, I'm now into my 2nd generation, so I have players who play for me whose mothers played for me. And so when I look at that, to me, that's just a testament to the fact that people in town really appreciated the basketball program and what went into all of that. And I think as I kind of reflect on that, I haven't had a lot of time to do that, but to think about for the good of the group and to make your minutes matter, I think that's like a life lesson that they can carry on in so many different directions.
Yeah, Coach, I imagine a lot of life lessons were learned from you for that entire team they'll carry on for the rest of their life. But you obviously were the winningest coach in Massachusetts history. Over 700 wins, pretty insane. I was looking at it earlier. I think 633 wins was the past record. You have about 733. You have almost 100 more than the next person. Just insane to see. But you obviously ended the season with a state championship. Kind of the only way to really encapsulate this entire career, besides maybe like a Presidential Medal of Honor or something they could have given you. Maybe that. But even then, I wanted to ask you, being able to go out on top, was that important for you, and did that really matter to you for really a way to wrap up the rest of your career?
Well, I had made the decision to retire in August, and so I did not tell anybody that that was my decision. And so to see what happened over the course of the season, including last year as well, like to look at what these kids were faced with in terms of the COVID protocols. And I mean, we had to have a seating chart for the bus. We had to have a seating chart for the benches. When we would travel to away games, even though we only had a 10-game schedule, to try to coach them, I would always tell them, circle up, because we had to keep space between them. And depending upon where we played, we were at home, we could move our seats 6 feet apart, but like when you go away, like for example, Foxborough, who was one of our toughest competitors, they put us in the bleachers and they spread us out 6 feet apart. And I was trying to think to myself, how am I going to communicate to my players like what we want to run, what we want to do, because Foxborough's like right over there and they're in the bleachers, so how do I communicate? So the ability of my coaching staff to adapt to what the situation was, especially due to COVID, I will be forever grateful for the minds that we collectively put together to try to make this work. And in last year's season, we went 10-0, and I felt so badly, especially for my seniors, Caroline Flynn, Jess Ehrlich, and Kelsey Yell, because they only got a chance to play 10 games. And my biggest disappointment for them was the fact that they were not going to get an experience to play in the state tournament. And to show the character of the players in the 21-22 season, led by two of the best captains I've ever had, Caroline Pepper and Haley Bourne, those seniors spoke many times during the course of the season about those three seniors, and that they were not just playing for themselves, that they were playing for those three seniors who didn't get a chance to play. And that just shows you that they understood that you're playing for something bigger than yourself. And that, to me, I think, is probably the most satisfaction I could ever get.
47 years in the Olive Range bench, never a technical foul.
Nope.
That says a lot about your character.
I've always looked at the officials from the perspective that they're trying to do their job too, and it's not an easy job. And if I had something to say to them, because I guess they didn't necessarily agree with the call, I would try to be as professional about that as I possibly could. I had a friend who was a ref, and she will remind me of this on multiple occasions, that there was one call in the South Sectional semifinal, and she ran in front of the bench, and I said to her, I said, hey ref, look out your good eye, Cyclops. So, you know, it was just a question of like, they knew I was never going to be derogatory to them. They knew that if I was upset about something that I would handle it as a professional. It wouldn't be like, you know, they did their job, I did my job. And I think that's something that I'm really proud of.
How do you want to be remembered as a coach?
I don't know. It's like, it's hard because there's so many things that you do as a coach. It's about, like I said, like those 4 principles that I have. And the most important thing to me was the fact that this will be something, if you do this the right way, this will be something that we will all share forever. And I think when I look back at all of those teams, I look at this as a book, and there were 47 different chapters to that book. And each chapter was different, but each chapter was meaningful. And the fact that we collectively as a group worked so hard, did what we had to do. Sometimes you can't control who you play. They may just be better than you. But to give it the best effort that you possibly can, and to recognize that this is an experience that we will learn about life through sport. And that, to me, I think is probably the most valuable lesson that they will all learn.
And Coach, this team that you had this past winter enjoyed a ton of success. What stood out to you about these girls in particular?
I think the senior leadership, to me, was the most important element to all of this, because we dealt with a lot of issues relative to injuries and relative to COVID. And they just weathered the storm. And I went weeks with only 6 or 7 healthy players. I had a tremendous coaching staff, women that were willing to come to practice and not just coach but to play, because we were down so many players. And I want to give a shout out to, we brought together 6 boys from our boys varsity team. So when they ended up losing in the second round of the tournament, and we knew that we had to bring a group together to try to elevate us. And Caroline Pepper and I had a conversation once the tournament started about, hey coach, should we bring the boys in? Because I had done this for our 2 previous state championships. So what I asked her to do was to find 5 boys that would be willing to give of themselves and not make it about themselves to help move us forward. And there were 5 players that came to practice, and we taught them the other team's offense, the other team's out of bounds plays, how they would press us. And the thing that I will walk away from is the greatest satisfaction that they were willing to give themselves for the good of the group. And it brought Oliver Ames High School back. And every single game there were more and more fans because of the boys helping us. I mean, if you ever got a chance to see any of the pictures in any of the papers, in any of the media, like, these boys were spectacular, and they just brought such an energy and such a pride to, it wasn't just us that won, it was the entire community that won, and that will be something that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
Okay, Coach, before we let you go, before we have to go to break, I want to say to you personally, your interviews have always just enlightened me by the end. I feel like I've learned something new by the end of every single one, and they're some of my favorites to do every time. But from the 4D Sports Talk family, I want to congratulate you on the Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you, Coach Clement Holbrook. You have just been awesome today. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Physical Therapy U. I'm Kelly Duggan, Doctor of Physical Therapy and the owner of PTU Clinic. Here at PTU, you're more than a patient and we're more than physical therapy. We offer massage, physical therapy, occupational therapy, personal training, and sport-specific performance training. We treat people and athletes of all ages and all levels of experience. Our beautiful 4,500 square foot facility located at 75 Scotland Boulevard in Bridgewater, Mass. is unlike any clinic you've seen. Our large space, along with our new COVID guidelines, allow us to treat you in the safest way. Your success in meeting your goals is our top priority. Whether you're recovering from a surgery or you're elevating your performance, we are the right clinic for you. Call us at 508-697-2000 or email us at ptuclinic@gmail.com. Check out our website at www.ptuclinic.com.
Parkinson's disease about 2 years ago. So I ruined my voice. That's one of the main reasons I got quit. Couldn't play and all the rest of it. I like the world. I like the world. And I turned out to do all of them. It turned out I could the same spirit I had. All the kids. Around the world. From Milton, you get to Malden High. The living is not Malden High. Malden schools is around the world.
Okay.
I just want to
go into that much. What do you want me to explain? yeah, Arthur did the show, and all of the play-by-play, when Bill did play-by-play of football and basketball, all those years, most of those years, yeah, 19 of the years, Arthur was right next to him doing color. And he was on the Sports Exchange with Bill all of those years, too. Unfortunately, Bill is no longer doing drive time sports or the Sports Exchange or doing play-by-play of football and basketball because Parkinson's has intervened and taken away the ability to do that. So that's the sad truth of the matter. So that's why I'm here speaking for him.
A popular destination, Adria boasts a breathtaking panoramic view of nature in all of its glory in each and every season. Upon visiting their 200-seat restaurant, you will see 3 distinctive areas. The lounge area includes their spacious 26-seat dining bar, high-top tables, and dining tables, all viewing access to 7 high-definition televisions and 3 Kino monitors. A second area set apart from the lounge offers booths and tables to accommodate every member of the family. The third area, a few steps down and separated from the main restaurant by windows, is known as the Fairway Room. It is surrounded by a wall of windows offering not just a fabulous view, but a feeling of serenity and tranquility. It is a favorite spot for lunch, dinner, and functions. It is perfect for a romantic dinner, a casual family gathering, business meeting, or any large group for that special occasion.
Four Deep Sports Talk Basketball Award Show, presenting a Lifetime Achievement Award to Bill Wilhelm, who was with WATD for a very long time, and obviously, if you from the South Shore, you know Bill Wilhelm. He called a lot of Marshfield Duxbury football games, including when I was in high school. He called my games, and he even gave speeches to the seniors of Marshfield and Duxbury at our annual breakfast beforehand. He's done so much for the community over the years. He gave me my first shot on the radio, contributing to the Sports Exchange in 2016 during high school football season. So we are absolutely honored to have him here. And I want to start off by asking about your high school coaching career, because I know you had a really great coaching career for Duxbury as a soccer coach. You won 506 games. Which one of those stood out to you the most?
I think 1 year was why I was pretty tough. I think at the end of the year, so that had been a long day. And the goalie was terrible. You know you're going to stop it twice. Anyway, we scored for first goal. One was going to score the title, one was going to go at that. Say that. My goalie was going to hurt. Next day, we got out back in part of high school, sometimes high school. I seen Monica Benedict on the goalie coming out, set up that. All these kids coming in school. Hey, Mom, girls didn't even know. Hey, Mom, he was on cloud 9. That made my day. That made my day. 15 times,
Bill, well, congratulations. I have to admit, it still feels strange me interviewing you and you not interviewing me. That's a first. But why did you prefer to cover high school sports over pro sports?
First one's terrible. Baseball, cheating. Football, cheating. Basketball. Famous words, not corruptible, and then the mafia, blah, 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 that is real. I've seen it. Yeah, I just want.
No, nobody's taking money.
No, Bill, that was a great answer. Obviously, high school sports, you don't have to experience cheating or scandals or anything. Yeah, a lot more. Just calm down. But no, for sure. For the final question I'd like to ask you, though, Bill, who were the most memorable guests from your show, The Sports Exchange?
How about Rico Petroselli? Wasn't he one of the best? He's certainly the only one. Arthur, what would you say?
I'm partial, but Tim Tebow was the best interview. But I'll share an amusing story with the folks because Bill has been handicapped now by Parkinson's, but he still has a famous side to him. And I pointed out to him that I was in Abington, that in my other life before I retired, I was a real estate appraiser. And I walked into this home in Abington, and there was on the mantle 2 football players' photos. And I said, "Are these your sons?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "They play for Jim Kelleher?" And she said, "Yes. He's a wonderful man." And I said, "Yeah, he is." And she says, "How would you know him?" And I said, "I broadcast football games with Bill Wilhelm on WATD." And she said, "Oh, you're not Bill Wilhelm, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm the other guy, but thanks for asking." And Bill has an identity as a official, a game official from time to time. He would get called to do soccer games because the varsity teams from other schools wouldn't have enough officials or anything like that. So Bill would go and referee the game. And one game, and I won't tell you who it was because they may have ears in the room, but it was one of the high school teams that is local to Bill. And they were running up the score. It was against North Quincy, but it was about 9-0 in the second period. It was 9-0 in the second period, and Bill went over to the coach of the opponent and said, "You're running up the score and you're embarrassing the other kids, and it's not the right thing to do. So, are you taking number 21 out of the game, or am I?" And he was told by the coach, he said, "If you take him out, he's going to miss a game automatically." And Bill said, "Yeah, isn't that a shame?" So he could maintain his sense of humor, and we had a lot of good times on the Brockton Rocks, we called them, the first 3 years they were there. And we got to meet Bill Murray, and that was another high point. But Bill, it's been a privilege to be associated with you for 43 years, 19 of the 43 years anyway. And he also was the Sherm Kinney Award winner about 10 years ago. The MIAA gives out one award for high school basketball promotion, and it went to Bill Wilhelm in 2010, I want to say. So. But it's also a thrill for all of us to be here the same night as Coach Holbrook, because she's a legend as well. And you know, because we were involved with boys basketball predominantly, we still covered girls games, and we had the pleasure of doing Coach McDonald's game, I think, in the old Braintree days. It was, yeah, so we have a relationship with some of the folks here, and it's really a privilege to be here and be part of this. And Bill is a special guy, and Marsha is a special lady, and you don't get one without the other. They come as a pair. And she's been the mother to the soccer team for 500 kids worth. And, you know, she just does it all. And Bill would admit that he only looks good because Marsha makes him look good.
Today's 4 Deep Sports Talk show is supported by PTU Clinic. Visit ptuclinic.com. Adria's Restaurant and Banquet Facility of East Bridgewater. For more information, their website is adriasrestaurant.net. And the Boston Athletic Academy at bostonathleticacademy.org.